Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Alignment with Jen podcast. I am your host, Jen Ditsazy, and today we're going to be diving into 5 more of the common mistakes that I see people make on their manifestation journey. And today we're really focusing on mistakes that slow down the manifestation process. I get so many messages on Instagram of people being like, I've been manifesting this for 2 years, or I've been trying this for, a very long time, and they haven't seen any changes. And there's reasons for that. It's not just because manifestation doesn't work. Manifestation is always working. And so I'm really excited for you to get to hear 5 more of these reasons. The last episode gave the first 5 reasons and some context. So if you didn't listen to that, I recommend listening to it after you listen to this one. It's going to be super, super helpful for you to get more of those. And as I mentioned on the last episode, these 2 episodes I recommend listening to numerous times because you are taking these nuggets of what you've learned and you are really sinking it deeper into your subconscious mind. Repetition is the mother of skill, is what Jim Rohn always says. And repetition, the reason it's the mother of skill is because when you repeat something, your subconscious mind begins to believe it and accept it as truth. So the more that you hear these truths about the law of attraction, about manifestation, about how the mind creates reality, the more that your mind is going to believe it and the more that your mind is going to operate from those principles automatically. And that's what we want. We want you to embody this information at such a deep level that it influences your behavior immediately. Okay? That way you're making decisions, you're taking action effortlessly from these universal truths that are guiding your behavior, regardless of if you know them or not. I'm going to kind of frame these a little bit differently, just for some context. Last time I reframed those as mistakes. This time I want to frame them as things that successful people do. Okay, so something that successful people will do, successful manifestors, people successful in their career, successful in wealth, whatever it might be, they focus on their thoughts and vibration first before action. They focus on getting their thinking and their attitude and their vibration right, and then they take action. Because what happens is most people will make a list of all the things that they need to do, and they'll be busy all day, right? And they can be busy all day for weeks and months and years and make no progress, right? Give me a high five if you've ever felt that way. I've definitely felt that way in my life. And the reason for that is because their thoughts and their vibration and their attitude and their beliefs that are creating that action are not the correct alignment for what they really want. Most people take action out of fear and out of scarcity and the fear of loss rather than the excitement of what they are creating and the desire and the appreciation for this experience of life. What successful people know is that 99% of your results are determined by your thoughts, by your attitude, by your beliefs, and only 1% is the actions that you are taking. This is why 2 people can take the exact same actions and get completely different results. This is why 2 people can have the same exact coaching program. I've seen this in coaching programs I've been part of, and one will get exceptional results and the other will get no results because the person brought to the table is different. Recognizing that your first order of business, and I really need you to hear this, is not what actions am I going to take? It's what thoughts am I going to think? What's my vibration going to be? Because if you are operating on a frequency of lack, trying to solve a problem, you don't even have access to the solution. I have a client who is telling me that she really wants to manifest paying off the debt that she has accrued. And she was stressing about it. She was all nervous. She was all stressed about it. And I told her, I was like, you don't need to take any actions from this place. This is not the place to take actions from. You need to shift your frequency. You need to get into that clear-headed space and then take actions from that place. The solution is vibrating at a frequency that you are not vibrating at. So if you want to access that solution, you need to raise your vibration to that level of that solution. It's like what Einstein said, right? The consciousness that created the problem is not the consciousness that is going to be able to solve the problem, right? Not his exact words, but you know what I mean. We need to shift our thought processes first. And most people, I think, have heard this before, but they don't do it. They don't do it because they're afraid of not taking action. They're afraid, well, if I don't get my whole to-do list done, then I'm going to be further behind, and then I'm going to feel worse, and blah, 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 blah. What they don't realize is that if they got their attitudes and their thoughts and their beliefs right first, then they would have not had to do 50 to 80% of the actions anyway. It will save you time doing things from the right vibration. You will attract the clients that you want. I decided earlier this year that I did not want to take as many calls for people wanting to sign up with my program, but I wanted every single call to be people who were already ready to sign up for my program, were super excited. And that's what's happened. And as a result, I am making more money in my business, working less, right? Because I decided what is the quality of people that I want to attract. So you make those decisions energetically before they will affect your physical reality. And that's what the most successful people know. And this goes back to the first episode, why it's so important to develop those neural pathways of how successful thinkers think. As you develop those pathways, as you get this information very deep into your mind, then your behaviors will automatically align with those of a successful person. You will automatically be creating the reality that you want, because your subconscious mind will be that of a successful, wealthy person, or a person in a really deeply committed and loving relationship. Because the truth is, if you don't have what you want, you're not thinking like the person yet. And how do we get to that point? We start thinking and emotionally experiencing that reality before it happens. The second thing to know is that your brain is a transmitter. So your brain is constantly sending out signals and is also receiving signals. And those signals that your brain is sending out are going into the quantum field. Some people call it the ether, which is what we are all part of. And they are interacting with matter. They are interacting with other people. This is why you can think about someone and then they'll text you, because there's no separation. It's all connected. What happens is that when people struggle to manifest what they want, they are oftentimes sending out those signals. Well, they're sending out the wrong signals. They're sending out what they don't want, and they're sending them out on the wrong frequency. So our brain has the ability to move between different wavelengths and frequency. So we have the beta brainwave. Well, above that is gamma. I'm not going to talk about gamma today, but we have the beta frequency. And that is when you're thinking, when you're focused. But beta can get very high and it can become anxious. It can become fearful. It's a lot of the doing brain. It's the brain in the doing. Okay. Then we have theta and alpha, and those are the ones that we experience when we're waking up in the morning, when we're falling asleep, when we're more relaxed, maybe in yoga, maybe in meditation. Ideally, we experience those more often because those frequencies are the frequencies that attract things to us. Beta is more urgency. It's more scarcity. A lot of people that are like always on the go, 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 they're very in the beta. Beta is not magnetic. Beta is not attracting things to you. There's a time and a place for beta when we're analyzing things, when we're doing some work, those sorts of things. But ideally, we're more in the alpha and the theta, more alpha during the day likely, because that is when we are sending out a more coherent signal that the universe is hearing and more able to hear. The beta signal has been called like the slave wave or the poverty wave, and the alpha and theta have been called the wealth wave, because those are the signals that are much more magnetic within the universe. And so if you're sending out the signal in the wrong frequency, then it's going to be a lot more difficult for you. If you're always in beta and you're thinking about, okay, I want to attract XYZ, I want to attract this, I want to attract this, I want to attract this, but you're in that beta, you're not nearly as magnetic if you were able to do it in those other brainwave states. So that's another one of the mistakes that people make, and that really successful manifestors just do it intuitively. They do it automatically. Something that I do that works super well for me is I wake up in the morning, I meditate. I never miss my meditation. I always do my meditation. Then I get ready, that sort of thing. I go on a walk, and I live really close to the ocean. I live in this really beautiful neighborhood with trees, and it's very naturey, and I love it. I'll go on that walk and I'll start that walk off just being in appreciation. I'll just list all the things I'm appreciative for. Sometimes the entire walk will be 45 minutes to an hour, and that's all I'm doing. But it's putting me in this mental space of, I'm definitely in some very relaxed mental space. I'm probably an alpha or very low beta, and I'm very receptive. I'm feeling super, super, super good. And then I'll bring up the things that I'm manifesting. And it has sped up my manifestation process so quickly, just that simple practice. So something to try on. I think the walking is a big part of it. What you manifest and using the law of attraction depends on your thoughts, your emotions and the intensity and the duration of those thoughts and the emotions. So if the intensity of your thoughts is weak, like, oh, I hope that I get this, that would be super nice, that's not influencing anyone. That's not influencing the universe. That's just doing nothing for you. The intensity matters as well. And the intensity and the power of what you're manifesting is based off the emotions that you're experiencing with it. So if you're saying what you want and there's no emotion, that's pretty neutral. It's not going to affect anything. But if you're saying it with a very elevated, coherent, powerful emotion like gratitude, like during my walks, then you are much more powerfully attracting to you what you want with the law of attraction. Another part of that intensity equation is also your ability to focus, right? If you struggle to focus, like I've been diagnosed before with ADHD, I personally don't put any weight on it or any water to it because I don't want to worry about it. I just have practiced so much focusing. Yes, I still am not an amazing focuser, but the more that you can allow yourself to focus on what you want in those moments, the more that it will become attractive. And the duration. If you're thinking about what you want once a week, that's very different than every day or multiple times a day, right? Do you see how you can kind of change your practices somewhat? The next one is not having a burning desire. So in the book Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill says having a burning desire for what it is that you want. Not exactly those words, right? But he references a burning desire over and over and over again. And the thing about a burning desire is it's something you really, really, really want. And having a burning desire gives you that intensity. It gives you that duration. It makes it so you're thinking about it all of the time, right? You're thinking about it often. And when you're thinking about it often, you're putting so much energy toward it, it's going to start becoming a much more powerful magnet, right? If you're always thinking about this negative cloud of what you don't want, that's pretty much what you're putting your burning desire on. So you need to put your burning desire and that deep, deep, deep desire and that focus on what it is that you want. Because if you have a weak desire, it's not attractive, it's not magnetic based on the law of attraction. One thing that will weaken your desire for something is believing that you can't have it. And this is something that I see over and over and over again. And there's different ways you can build belief. It's kind of a longer conversation that I don't think I'll get into here, but building belief is really, really, really important. And I actually have put together a free workshop. So I'll link it down below in the show notes on Spotify, and I'll link it on my YouTube as well. And it's a free workshop that is called The Art of Getting What You Want. And in this free workshop, I talk about the different ways to build belief. It's a bit of a longer conversation. Maybe we'll do a podcast episode on it. But if you don't believe that you can have what you want, it's going to cause you to doubt it. And it's also going to reduce your desire. You're not really going to work toward it, right? If you knew for a fact that you could have what you wanted tomorrow, you'd really work hard for it, right? You'd be so excited, you'd be moved to work toward it. So we need to build that burning desire. And part of that is clearing out those limiting beliefs, which is also what we do in the Infinite Experience. The next one that I want to share with you is the chief desire, or the chief aim, as Napoleon Hill would say, is feeling good now. So every single thing that you want to manifest is because you want to feel good in some way, right? Maybe it's you want to feel appreciated, loved, but it's all about feeling good. So if you are not sure what you want to manifest, or you just want to kind of make this really, really simple, if the only thing you do is focus on feeling good, you are going to attract incredible, magnificent things into your life. Because feeling good is only going to attract things in your life that allow you to feel good. It's when we dip that we start to attract the things that we don't want. So the more that you can build up your ability to feel good, and I'm not saying ignore and suppress your emotions, I'm saying get tools, get resources, learn how to be an emotionally regulated person, how to process your emotions, how to move through your emotions. And the more that you can feel good, the more you're going to attract things to feel good about. It's like the little quick back door into the law of attraction. If all you want to do is just focus on feeling good, you're going to attract magnificent things to you. The next one is what is called the certainty principle. So this is something that I learned through a lot of the Kabbalah classes that I've taken. The certainty principle is that, and this is something talked about all over the place as well in all spiritual teachings, is that everything is good and everything is from the creator, God, or the universe. And so everything is either getting you what you want or teaching you a lesson that you need to have in order to get what you want, in order to elevate your soul. And when you can begin to see your life in that way, you are going to be infinitely more powerful. And I do it in really small ways and in really big ways. So a really small way would be you go to the grocery store and it's packed. I just went to the Encinitas Farmers Market and it was packed and I had to park like blocks and blocks away. And I could have been like pissy and mad, but that's not really my vibe, right? I'm not interested in that. So I just was like, cool, now I get to get more steps in. I get to enjoy the walk. And I ended up finding this really cool park. Ended up petting a cute dog. You make everything as if it's working out for you, as it's been designed for you. Because everything is you either gaining what you want or learning a valuable lesson you need in order to get it. That's it. That's all we're doing here. Everything is good. The universe does not do things to you. It does things for you. And the more you can remember that, the more powerful you're going to be. Another example of this is I was at a dinner the other night. And it was a great dinner. And every single person at this dinner was incredibly successful, incredibly amazing. There are a lot of my friends from the Tony Robbins community that I'm part of. One of them was saying how last August, he got really, really, really sick. He went in for some kind of surgery and they ended up puncturing his pancreas on accident and they didn't know it. And so he got so sick, he said bye to all of his family members. He was like sheet white. He thought he was going to die. And he ends up just miraculously, they do a scan and they find out that they punctured his pancreas. So they were able to resolve it. And he is now healthy. He's doing great. What was that? I don't know, 6-ish months ago. The thing that he said was that was the best thing that has ever happened to him. He's like, it changed my perspective. It gave me an entirely new lease on life. He joined the Tony Robbins community that I'm part of. That's how I met him. All of these amazing things came out of that experience. Other people could have let that experience destroy them. You choose what experiences mean to you. So that is a certainty principle at work. Everything is good. Everything is from the creator and everything is helping me get to where I want to be. That's the last piece I want to leave you with in this episode. I'd love, love, love for you to join the free workshop, The Art of Getting Everything You Want. I go much deeper into these principles. It's really, really fun. It's basically me taking over a decade. I've realized it's been over 15 years actually of me studying all this information. And I try to condense it down to 90 minutes. So it's packed. Enjoy it. Listen to it multiple times. Listen to this episode multiple times. Leave me comments. I'd love, love, love to hear from you. And if you want to join any of my programs, you can send me a message that just says podcast on Instagram @alignmentwithjen, and I'll help you find the right program for you. Okay, bye.